Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel, For God and Country, a special show dedicated to our military chaplains. This and more coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
Here again is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel. In honor of the upcoming Veterans Day and in conjunction with this weekend's National Collection for the Military Archdiocese, today our entire program focuses on Catholic military chaplains in a series of stories produced by Chaz Muth of Catholic News Service. Chaplains have had a presence in the American military since the U.S. Army Chaplains Corps was established July 29, 1775. Military chaplains are commissioned officers serving in the U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. The priests are basically on loan from their dioceses while they serve. Unlike traditional parish priests, most chaplains work side by side with their flock. In our first story today, we take you to boot camp.
So the first 4 weeks of their course are basically basic training. So we give them an experience in the first 4 weeks of the course of what it's like to be a young basic trainee anywhere else here in the Army or here on Fort Jackson. So we give them a little bit of flavor of that. And the real focus on those first 4 weeks is on what we call warrior tasks and battle drills. We're teaching them how to be soldiers. We begin the soldierization process with them and turning them from civilian clergy into Army chaplains. We teach them how to communicate in the Army writing style, how to write an Army memorandum, how to use the language of the Army to accomplish ministry. And that's really what it's about.
We learn a lot in these 3 months. Really, this school prepares us really well.
I think that this is very important because to be a good chaplain, that's why we have uniforms. We need to be a good soldiers as well, yeah.
What we try to impress upon them is there is an identity that is distinctive of the chaplain. And that identity is really summarized in you need to go where it sucks the most. If you're not where it sucks the most, you're probably in the wrong place. And so we really try to impress upon them that you need to be where your soldiers are. What I tell them is your sheep need to be able to recognize your walk in the dark.
Catholics make up about 1/4 of the 5 branches of the military. We make up only 8% of the chaplain corps. So there is a tremendous gap between the need for Catholic priests and their presence, their actual presence in the military.
It is tough for the military, and we could certainly use more. That means that there is a continued need for chaplains to be serving.
Father Lucas Willenberg was seen as an extraordinary priest by parishioners at St. Luke's Catholic Church in Barrington, Rhode Island, and his future looked bright within the Diocese of Providence. Providence Bishop Thomas Tobin took notice of this charismatic young Polish immigrant who seemed to excite young Catholics at his parish while endearing himself to the older parishioners as well. Father Willenberg was given the honor of serving as the bishop's master of ceremonies, in which he helped direct the clergy and laity when the leader of his diocese took part in special events. So when this gifted priest asked his bishop to be released from the diocese to serve in the U.S. Army, the prelate had a difficult decision to make, and one that he admittedly struggled with.
I remember when the first time told my bishop about the call I feel in my heart to become a chaplain, and eventually asking him to be released from the diocese for a couple of years. I met a little bit of hesitation on his side.
I didn't respond to it right away. We do have a priest shortage for sure. My primary responsibility as a bishop, of course, is to my own diocese, my own diocesan church.
bishops need priests to run the parishes, to work in all different assignments within the diocese.
I wanted him to think about it, and I wanted to think about it myself. So we took several months to think about it before he asked me the second time. And that was the point at which we got more serious in consideration, because it is, first of all, a big step for him. You know, he's come here from Poland, but for him to go into the military service would be another big change for him. So it was a significant step for him, one that would involve his commitment for a good number of years, but also, again, a very significant sacrifice for our own diocesan church to lose the availability, the ministry of a fine young priest like Father Luke.
When a priest leaves the diocese, everyone feels the impact. Beginning with the local parish that young man was a part of, people really get attached to their priest.
He doesn't feel like a priest. It feels like you're talking to a friend, which I think makes it a lot easier, and he is really good at tying